Welcome to day 79 of the 300 movie challenge. Today we watched the highest grossing film of December 2000, which was Castaway. Wilson died for our sins.
Yeah. I am actually still very upset over that. Like, no joke.
I think there are a lot of things that,
We're upsetting.
yeah,
Well, it's kind of the point of the film almost.
yeah. I will say that didn't expect to be as invested into the film as I thought I would be.
Yeah.
I thought that it would be like one of those boring things and stuff. I didn't realize that the Wilson volleyball was from this movie, though.
I didn't know that
Oh,
either.
yeah, I knew it was, but yeah.
Because, I took playwriting class in college, and one of my classmates, they wrote a play and they referenced Wilson the volleyball, like, in the play. And I was like, oh, where's this from? Because they, like, made a volleyball with, like, the handprint on it and everything.
Oh my god.
And I was just like, that's so oddly specific. Where is it from? And he said, oh, it's from Castaway. And I was like, what's a castaway?
What's a castaway?
You're a smart. That's what you are.
I'm a smart.
I had heard it, well, I've heard it referenced twice. One was in Mental Floss. It's in the wall
right.
of things.
It's in the wall.
And I think John Green was like, yeah, we have Wilson here. And I was like, oh, okay. And then another person was like, oh, yeah, we found a volleyball and we named it Wilson. And I was like, huh, where is this thing coming from? And now I know. Which, I guess before we get into the movie, there was something kind of funny that I saw, which was there was apparently a FedEx commercial during the 2003 Super Bowl that parodied the final scene of the film where he like goes to deliver the package and everything.
Oh.
And in the commercial, the woman is actually there, and Chuck had asked the woman what's in the box, and the woman is just like, oh, just a satellite phone, a GPS locator, a fishing rod, a water purifier, and some seeds, just silly stuff.
Oh my. Oh.
That was pretty funny.
It would have saved his life like 4 times faster.
Yeah, well, that was the thing that I was like, for some reason, he took like a while before he opened the boxes, and again, he didn't open that one box, and it's like, that's like the first thing I would have done is I would have opened the boxes.
Like
No.
all of them.
Yeah.
And not that, but the flashlight gave me so much anxiety.
Oh yeah, that was stupid. I mean, it was obviously gonna die like fairly soon anyway, but still, it was just like,
It was just painful to watch it.
Because it's like it didn't even die because he carefully like used the flashlight and stuff. He just carelessly left it on
yeah.
during some portions and stuff, and it's just like, but
Yeah. I don't know. And then, I mean, but at the same time, though, I do like how, you know, he definitely seems like a normal person.
Yeah.
definitely.
They
yeah.
don't make him like, oh, look at this great wild survivalist or whatever. Because, like, you know what I mean? They don't turn him into Tarzan, which would have been
Yeah,
like, really
true.
silly. So, yeah.
I mean, I guess the thing
I
with
appreciate that a lot.
I guess the thing with the flashlight is like it kind of shows that he's taking it for granted, but I guess like he doesn't really realize that he doesn't have batteries to replace it.
Oh, that's true too. That could have been.
Yes, I mean, that's
Because it's kind of early, and I was just like, oh wait, it is kind of early, so maybe he just took it for granted and didn't really think twice about it.
I guess another thing of symbolism, I thought, there's the title of the movie, which is Castaway, which you can take it to mean like he literally got cast away and stuff. But you could also think of it like that he was cast away from society for a long time too
Oh yeah.
well, yeah.
and stuff.
And then, but
Yeah.
and the thing is, again, like, this is like society kept going, right?
Yeah.
And how that comes out with you know, I just forgot her name. I feel stupid. Whatever. The woman the woman,
Kelly?
yeah,
Kelly?
that was her name. How, she's like, she kind of had to, keep going, right?
Yeah.
Even if it's clear that she didn't want to, it's like she realized she had to, right?
Yeah.
And so, even though arguably, like, her existence was, like, kind of one of the few things keeping him going, it's still, like, and he had, like, oh, I'll be back and I'll see her and I'll be with her or whatever. But it's like, that's not what happened, and it, like, makes sense that's not what happened.
Mm-hmm.
So, and how they handle that, and how, like, at the end, she, like, at first, she's like, oh, I still want to, actually, I do want to go with you, but it's like, you can't, mess up your whole life just because of this, right?
Yeah.
So, it is one of those, it's kind of like, what was that movie? Now I forgot what the movie was. There was one of the movies where it was we specifically talked about how, oh, well, it was Titanic, where we were saying, like, you're kind of, makes you think, like, what would you do in that situation?
Yeah.
Right, and it kind of does that. But again, not just in terms of, like, while you're on the island, but also in terms of, like, afterwards, like, how you would react to things like that.
I like what they did afterward, where it's now like he just became accustomed to society again and he could suddenly do all those things. Like, you see him in the hotel room and he's, like, mystified about the fact that he can turn on and off the lamp, and then you see...
on the floor.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And then when he sees the lighter and it's like, it was so easy, like, people take for granted how easy it is to make fire. And then when he saw, like, the crab legs and the sushi and stuff, that was literally all he had to eat, and it wasn't, like, anything fancy.
Yeah.
It wasn't considered fancy for him and stuff. So that was really interesting to see, like, play out in that sense.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes a lot of sense that he would have had, like, psychological trauma, obviously.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah. I don't think he'll ever really be cured of it.
Poor Wilson.
I did think that what was interesting was there was very little music.
Yeah.
Especially, again, during the entire island, I don't think there was music at all.
Yeah,
I don't think so.
I think the music was supposed to symbolize civilization almost, it seems like.
Because the thing is, I don't remember if there's any music in the beginning, like 30 minutes before he goes down, but the only other times I remember is there was music when he first, like, left the island. There was kind of like triumphant music. There was music with Wilson, and there was some music near, like, the end, right? I don't remember exactly how much or when exactly, but there was some in that last, like, 20 minutes or so. So, again, it makes sense on the island in terms of atmosphere, like, why there'd be no music and how that works in that regard. Also, just in terms of, like, if you notice, the camera angles and the camera, like, not the angles, the editing is, like, the shots are really long. Like, shots go on for, like, a minute or something without cutting. And so that, even outside of the island, they do that. And so that kind of adds to the whole, like, it's like kind of, it's more like realistic in a way, and it's a way of kind of making it feel very lonely.
Yeah.
So that's added well, and again, the lack of music helps with that. I almost wish they, like, didn't do any music at all, just to kind of keep it all the way through. But at the same time, I get it as, like, kind of a contrast, because again, like, the first part and also the last part, like, at least kind of seems more like a standard movie.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's something. I will say, even though this is almost 2.5 hours, it, like, it used its time. It didn't feel like super long. Like, again, I would say Meet the Parents, like, felt longer than this, and it was like way, I don't know, like an hour shorter almost, but it felt like an hour longer. So, yeah. I like it. It's a good movie. I wouldn't say, like, I personally wouldn't say there was, like, anything that, like, oh, I love this or anything, but it was good. I'm glad I saw it. At least for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
It definitely makes you think.
Yeah.
Also.
It's a good wrap up for this year, I would say. Just, like, end on a nice, thoughtful note.
We're at a crossroads now, just like how Tom Hanks was.
Thank you, Tom Hanks, for delivering good movies.
I did, oh, one other thing I guess you could mention. During the scene with the plane crash, I will. That was like another thing where the shooting of it was really well done because it felt chaotic without like cutting every
Being
half second.
Yeah.
You could actually
Yeah.
see what was going on, but at the same time, like it felt like chaotic and intense or whatever, and like oh, it's gonna happen. Whereas again, like the freaking so many modern things where it's like cut every quarter second, and it's like you can't even tell what's going on. And it's just like
Yeah.
ugh. So they didn't.
What's the point?
It reminded me of what is it? I forgot which game it was, but it was like which title it was, but it was like the Tomb Raider game. It involved the priestess and everything. It took place on a Japanese island. I don't remember what
This is
the
where the boat like split in half or something.
yeah, like it reminded me of that because that was well done too.
Oh,
like
yeah.
even though it was over dramatic because video games, but it was done really well, and you could tell that the ship was crashing, but it didn't like cut every 3 seconds and everything. So it reminded me of that a lot. I feel like
Yeah.
there was something else I was gonna say. Oh yeah, I also appreciated the fact that you actually see him get hurt on the island.
Oh,
'Cause-
yeah.
Yeah, because, well, like the fact that it was realistic in that sense,
Yeah.
not like the fact that he was getting hurt, but it's realistic because a lot of times when you see these kinds of scenarios, they don't show the people getting hurt at all.
Right.
Yeah,
So
it's
this
just
is
they,
like,
they
yeah.
turn into master survivalists, and it's like
Yeah.
So,
This is kind of like him just learning how to do it by learning from his mistakes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
There's one scene that we all did not watch,
We're not talking about that scene.
so just take caution. There's one kind of gross scene, probably, or at least
I don't think they really like show it actually happening, but like
just
what
the premise of it.
yeah, you
knowing
know what's
it's-
going to happen, and at least for me, I don't know, like certain elements of like bodily harm, like it, like grosses me out more than others, and like that is pretty bad for me. I don't know. There's a few things that are like worse for me, but that's pretty bad. And I'm just like, oh, I don't even want to think about it. So, yeah,
I feel like during that scene, all my teeth started hurting.
yeah.
I kind of like that's like one of my weird squick fears. So I was like, I'm not watching this either.
I'm just not good with gore, so I was out from the second.
I mean, I knew it wasn't gonna be like super gory because it's PG-13 movie, but still,
Yeah,
it's still
but
it's
I
the
mean-
implication of it. Yeah, I
The
know.
implication is very just. Ugh.
Yeah.
So just take caution with that.
Well,
Now I've realized, I guess on a small closing note, unless anyone else had anything else to say.
I don't.
I don't think so.
I don't.
Actually, I have two closing things. One is kind of just a random fact. The other one has to do with the movie. But wait, now I forgot what my point
Oh my
was.
god.
Wait, what was it?
More things to cut.
Oh no, I remember what it is. It was the fact that now I realize like so many references to this movie now.
Oh right.
Because
Oh,
I
like
think
what?
there was
Was
Good
I-
Eats.
like what? Because all I know is just I've seen Wilson around. I don't know anything else.
I know Wilson, and then I think it was Good Eats. I might be wrong in the name of the cooking show, but it was like it was basically a quirky cooking show, and it also took place on like a deserted island and everything.
Oh.
And he had a coconut that he painted a face on,
Oh.
and he was arguing with, and I was like,
Oh. Okay.
"Where is that gimmick from?" And then then I saw this, and then I realized where it was from.
Everything it revolves around Wilson.
Yeah, so.
Mhm.
It's
That was-
Wilson's world.
That thing, and then I guess the random fact is FedEx was featured very prominently in this movie, and I guess interesting fact is that there's actually an arrow in the FedEx logo.
Oh, well, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's a well-known fact or
I
not.
think it is, but I don't know.
Maybe it is by now. I don't know. I remember
I mean,
learning that.
I knew about it. I know about it, but
I
whatever.
remember learning it a really long time ago, but I
Yeah.
never knew if it's just a common fact or not.
I don't
I
know.
don't know. The younger generation doesn't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever. I guess the other interesting fact is I probably got something delivered to my house via FedEx just a few hours ago. I got a new mouse that probably came via FedEx. So yeah, because my old
Yay.
mouse was not being responsive when it was trying to do things. So I'm like, I need a new one. Plus, this one's like 5 years old and is kind of gross. So
And you cast it away.
yes.
Oh my god.
Anyway, shall we go over the
2000.
year? Yeah, let's see.
Heck was in this year. I don't even like remember.
I know. I
Fantasia
like feel like I just
2000.
forgot everything.
Fantasia 2000 was in here.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, that was the thing we watched.
That was like one of the better things we watched.
Yeah, that was good. I like again, I'd seen the original Fantasia, so but I was kind of always curious like how does this one work, and it was pretty good.
Mhm.
Watched the horrible Star Wars.
Yeah, Attack of the Clones is not very good.
That was cringe.
Yeah, it's
But not as cringe as the Grinch.
True.
hold on,
We're not there
we're not there yet.
Aaron Brockovich was surprisingly a really good film, actually.
Yeah,
Surprisingly
definitely.
decent. Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess it has like an air of being a good film, but still, just like given like the factual data surrounding it, we were worried. But
Mhm. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, again, I don't like love it, but I think it's decent. Then we had a bunch of just like movies.
Yeah.
With U571, Mission Impossible 2, Perfect Storm. I don't even remember much from any of these movies.
What?
They're
Yeah,
just-
wait.
Who cares, honestly?
What even happened in Perfect Storm? I legitimately can't even remember it.
It was
at
like
all.
the boat during the hurricane.
Was it the inaccurate one?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I remember it was
it's the-
inaccurate, but I literally like cannot remember like a single plot point.
I don't
like,
even remember watching it.
like I remember the premise, but I literally don't remember anything plot wise that happened at all.
Not particularly.
I barely remember Mission Impossible 2. U571, only thing I remember is like the very beginning scene with the Germans, because I thought like with that it would actually be kind of interesting, but then they basically got rid of the Germans, so I was like, oh okay.
I remember that part, and I remember the part where they found the guy doing the
Oh,
guy that
sabotaging
they were
them.
supposed to kill,
Oh.
Yeah,
but they didn't kill for whatever reason.
yeah, that was done.
Dumb.
So yeah, 3 meh movies in a row, and then X-Men was good though.
Yeah.
X-Men was pretty good.
X-Men.
That was also, I think, all three of our first times watching X-Men.
Yeah,
And we at least,
I
yeah.
believe so. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've never.
I've never seen it. So
Huh.
yeah,
Oh man.
and then oh yeah, and then Hollow Man.
Oh my god.
Moving on. Titans.
Yeah, a good film.
Much better.
Yeah,
Much
this was again. I really liked Remember the Titans.
Yeah,
I'd say this was my favorite film of the year by a pretty
thanks.
good margin, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, I was like legitimately really surprised how much I liked it. But we've already talked all about that. Meet the Parents is boring.
Yeah.
More boring than expected.
Yeah, Grinch was.
Cringy.
Trauma.
Trauma. Yeah.
Instead,
actually,
it's
that's the perfect word to
instead
use
of
for
the Grinch, it was more like the cringe.
that.
Cringe.
Even Troot would have run away scared. And he's a Troot.
Away.
The Troot swam into Castaway and then into Tom Hanks' mouth.
Oh my god. Yeah, weren't you like, oh, it's a Troosh. And then it went foosh.
No, I said it's a foosh.
It's a
It's like
foosh.
instead of a fish, and then he got it with the spear or whatever, and it went whoosh.
Goodbye, foosh.
But yeah, so I don't know. This year overall was just kind of like average.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say average. There were some meh, some bleh, and then some yeah.
Sure, that's a way to put it.
Nice way to put it.
Yeah, let's say. Let me think. Yeah, there's about it's probably about like there was like a third good, a third meh, and a third less than meh.
Yeah.
Right, about pretty even in that regard.
We're slowly getting out of the dark ages.
Yeah. Again, like I wouldn't say, like well, I don't know. Yeah, this wasn't as good as last year.
Yeah.
Last year had better stuff overall. But this was still fine. It's better, definitely better than like 96 and like 97
Okay.
and like
Yeah.
that kind of garbage. But
Let's not talk about those years.
not like 99 had a lot of had a pretty good amount of good stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And then yeah, so not as good as that, but definitely better than the total terrible shit. And again, I'd rather take like kind of forgettable whatever than like, you know,
So
fucking-
bad that it's just bad.
Yeah. Because again, it's forgettable. You're just like, again, I'm like,
Like-
I don't remember like you know 3 of these movies, so it's like, well, it's not so bad then, right?
Yeah.
But well, so yeah, I don't know. Decent year overall. Next year's gonna be weird.
It'll be a mix.
It'll
There's
be
a
a
lot.
real
Yeah,
year.
we've described next year as complete mood whiplash. So we'll
Yeah.
we'll see how that goes. I am not looking forward to the first movie. It's
The
not
winter
rated
activist.
like that bad, but it just like the bare bones premise is like fear inducing.
If you heard Sora's sigh, that is basically Valen.
Yeah, I think it's pretty
I
accurate.
want to hide.
You want to cry?
You want to hide behind a plant?
Yes. I find it funny that I'm scared of the January movie, but not the February movie.
I am scared of the February movie.
You guys haven't seen the prequel, but we'll get to that.
Yeah, I don't know anything about the series. I guess it's a series.
If you need any background information on the prequel, it's easy to find it. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
Alright.
then other stuff, and
Then
There's
we
definitely-
start 2 franchises too.
yeah,
2000.
it's 2 big well, actually, in a sense, 3 big franchises.
Oh, that's true. Actually, yeah.
Oh yeah.
So there's a good amount of movies here that at least a couple movies that I know about where like they're either intentionally or not intentionally they have like really like stupidly hilarious stuff in them. So
Oh boy.
that'll hopefully be at least again in terms of like I'll take stupidly funny bad over, you know, boring. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
but well, we shall see. So that
Okay.
was Castaway and 2000. We're gonna cast away the year 2000,
And
Yes.
go sail into 2001.
which is officially the beginning of the 21st century. I don't really understand that, but whatever.
I don't.
Wait, really?
I think officially the 21st century started with 2001.
Oh, what a movie to start off on.
Yeah.
So
ooh.
basically, what you're saying is that we cast away the 20th century. Then.
Yes.
Okay, we've officially cast away the 20th century.
Yeah. So hooray.
Yay.
I guess.
As the farther we get from like 1997, the better.
True. True.
Already gonna be 4 years.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah.
So
Whoa.
much progress.
Bro.
Oh yeah, many more years to go.
Oh yeah. It's a start. Okay. It's a start.
Yes.
All right. Bye.
Bye. So bye.
Bye.